All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, right here, right now, we are live in full effect, right here on the Canadian airwaves, and we actually have Xrossroads, a phenomenal hip-hop duo by Grammy-nominated producer Baby Paul and the one and only Detroit's finest Supa Emcee right here live on the line. And guys, I know you guys are super busy individuals, so I'm going to dive right into this interview, but I have to ask you, when you two get together as a hip-hop duo, what can the listeners actually expect from you guys together as Xrossroads?
Authentic to the steps and the path that the culture is. You know what I'm saying? Before anything, like, yeah, we're going to sell some records. We're going to have some joints where people going to say, okay, you know, that's some mainstream stuff. But it's always going to be to the T of what the culture is and to stay on point with what hip-hop is instead of straying away from it and bastardizing it and turning it into something that it ain't and then calling it that. Just so, you know, we can push a record. Like, if it is what it is, we doing some jingles, you gonna say, hey, this Baby Paul, the Supa Emcee, we doing Crossroads jingles. So we gonna be you know what I'm saying? We're gonna do that, but it's still gonna be hip hop because somebody gonna be scratching and then somebody gonna be beatboxing and we gonna be rhyming. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is with us.
Yeah, he was asking about your appearance at 8 Mile, like before we just got back in real quick. So I think
the appearance at 8 Mile, man, it was a lovely experience. You know what I'm saying? To hang out, you know what I'm saying, on the set with some of Detroit's finest and some of Detroit's up and coming at the time, and just to be, you know, running around with my dog Proof, you know what I'm saying, during that time, and being one of the artists that was picked in the competition that the director had before that, and just being, you know, a part of that big production, the stage battling him, and then like for it to supposed to be in a movie, and then for it to be on the extra DVD, it was no sweat off. You know, I don't think none of us back because of, you know, the performance in it and what it garnered, you know, from being a part of that. And shout out to, you know what I'm saying, Eminem, Shady Records, you know what I'm saying, D12, everybody that was involved with that, you know what I'm saying, directors and everything, Interscope, because that was a big thing, you know what I'm saying, not only, you know, for Eminem himself and everybody that had, you know, a hand in creating that, but for Detroit itself, it was like a big thing that, you know, a lot of Detroit artists, you know what I'm saying, got a chance to eat off of, got a chance to, you know what I'm saying, have nationwide and global exposure. You know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing, man.
Absolutely.
And also as well, Baby Paul, man, for people that don't know, you were actually a Grammy-nominated producer. I was wondering, how did that Grammy nomination come to be for you? And of course, how does it feel to have that prestigious just nomination under your belt, man? Because, you know, a Grammy, as everybody knows, man, that's one of the most hugest accomplishments one can even receive within being in the music industry.
I agree. And for me, I think the icing on the cake is being that it was recognized with two of the greatest hip-hop MCs out of New York City, that I can be honored to be collaborating. And it wasn't a commercial record. It was just a good hip-hop record that was released on a body of work on Motown Records when AZ did the Asiatic album. So I'm blessed, and shout out to Nas and AZ for the opportunity to be on that project. And I'm blessed that within the category at that time, which was Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group, but my song in collaboration with them was acknowledged among the releases for that year. So I think Outkast won the category for the actual Grammy, but we received the nomination. And I was cool with that, you know what I mean? Because, again, like Soup just said, it wasn't a highly mainstream level record. It was just a good hip-hop record that was being recognized.
And, man, I gotta say as well, you know, a nomination is still good for the resume, man. You know, not everybody even gets recognized by the Grammys, man, so that's freaking huge, especially for hip-hop.
Absolutely, and I feel like the way the board is now, they're starting to really pay attention to the difference between just having a mainstream hit record and being popular, and actually curating the art of hip-hop music and making quality songs that connect to the people and have staying power and can last the test of time. Because if you look at what's going on, you know, Nas has got best rap album this past year for King Disease Volume 1, and it was well deserved for that time as far as what was out in the market, in my opinion. So, you know, I just feel like it's a paradigm shift in the market where there's more room for balanced music in the market that can be acknowledged for its creativity, you know, aside from just selling records and aside from just being popular. Because, you know, because of the internet being popular tends to supersede the art. And, you know, sometimes for me it's frustrating. But, you know, I find a balance in it to the best of my ability with the work that I do.
And Supa as well, man. Now, as you mentioned earlier on in this interview, that you were actually signed to Proof's Iron Fist Records. But I have to ask you, man, how did that record deal initially come to be for you? And of course, like, how did you first meet Proof? Because I gotta say, man, just Iron Fist Records was huge in Detroit City back in the day.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, like, even before, like, I ran with Proof, you know what I'm saying, all over the city. Like I said, I was from a group called the Almighty Dreadnoughts. You know, Almighty Dreadnoughts, you know what I'm saying, we was, you know, all our people was, you know, connected to everybody. But I met Proof when I was, like, 14 years old, freestyling in the bathroom at this club called the Grand Quarters. And it was like a spot where everybody would go to, you know what I'm saying, and get it in and do their thing. You know what I'm saying? And from then, you know what I'm saying, I just, you know, was running into Proof all over the city while we would be, you know, doing different you know, shows and stuff like that. So from that, you know, and me and Proof became real cool. You know what I'm saying? That was my guy. You know what I'm saying? So you know, he would look out for me on all type of occasions, or, you know what I'm saying, on anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you name it. Like, he just was my dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, on everything. You know what I'm saying? So when him and D12 did their thing, you know what I'm saying, blew up, whole city on fire with it, Proof started his label, Iron Fist. And then he was like, you know, hey, you my guy, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put you on, you know what I'm saying, with this situation. So I'm like, okay, bet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to definitely, you know what I'm saying, my stuff situation. You know what I'm saying? Come on, please. Oh, please, come on. Oh, man. Come on, I came from Highland Park, all the way from Highland Park, just trying to get one thing for my kid. Come on, I came all the way from Highland Park.
Yeah, while Soup's handling that, I feel like one of the things that is important for our listeners to know is that if you haven't gotten our EP releases, make sure you go out and get it. The first one is called X Amount. The second one's called The Road Less Traveled. They're both excellent bodies of work. One is more of a defining project in terms of the creative direction, in terms of song topics. The other one is just an introduction and letting you know, look, we here. We come from the skill set of quality hip-hop music. Pay attention. You know what I mean? So I feel like now the next body of work is going to be even more defining because we've lived a little, Supa and I have, and, been, just fulfilling certain things within our individual careers, and then, well, as Supa, just maintaining his health, after surviving a serious accident, which is a blessing that, he's here today. You know what I'm saying? So, being so strong and being so forthright and pushing his agenda forward for the sake of the culture despite any circumstance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's how it was, man. I mean, like, touching on all that, it's serious what I went through. It's a blessing, man, to just be able to heal up and be able to just, try to go back at what we've been doing, you know what I'm saying, and what we've been trying to make. And that's the one thing that I'm grateful for, you know what I'm saying, to the big man upstairs that controls everything, you know what I'm saying. And but the situation with P was like when he started the label, he was like, he was already telling me, like, as soon as I start this label, dog, you're gonna be one of the artists that is gonna be on Iron Fist. So, like, during that time, when he started Iron Fist, I was already in the situation with my group, the Almighty Dreadnought. So it was like I signed with the label in a situation, and then like he let me out of the situation because him and Hex had a situation they worked out where it was like, you know what I'm saying, the Dreadnoughts was getting ready to put out the project, so I had to be all hands on deck for that. So, but after that, so it was like in 03, that was the situation where Proof had dropped like the first snippet CD of who was going to be on the project, on the label or whatever. It's like Me, Moo, Marv One, and As Is from the Outsiders. And after that, my situation with AD, he picked up the Purple Gang, and the Purple Gang and Mountain Climbers and a couple other cats, you know what I'm saying, that was rolling with Iron Fist at that time. So, then after that, you know what I'm saying, 05, I signed with him, and, you know what I'm saying, it was on for us in that situation from that. And, after he passed, you know what I'm saying, Iron Fist, went through a whole situation where, it was a hardship, because, once the big fella was gone, it was like, we had to get it, you know what I'm saying? So, from that, you know what I'm saying, it sparked a lot of different projects from myself, a whole catalog of, every kind of thing you probably want to think of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Dealing with some hip hop,
It's Immortal series, catalog. Yeah. I ended up discovering once we started working together, so I could really see what he was doing as an artist even before I came to the table.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. I mean, it's like dealing with somebody like Baby Paul and knowing what he's gonna bring to the table as a producer, and knowing what you gotta come with. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing to play with. I mean, we ain't no artist to play with anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you dealing with this type of caliber of music making, you know what I'm saying? You can't play with it. You gotta give it what you got. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just no we gonna get in the studio and he gonna throw on the beat and I'm just gonna grunt over like 8 bars and then we gonna put it out.
No.
Like, no, you know what I'm saying? We gonna say something to y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gonna enlighten y'all. We gonna life lesson y'all. We gonna you know what I'm saying? We gonna life intrigue y'all. We gonna get y'all out of some of this life problems. You know what I'm saying? By the things that we say. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't just the things that we say, because you know what I'm saying? It ain't like we ain't living what we talking. Right? You know what I'm saying? Or have lived it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just what, you know what I'm saying, the music dictates, you know what I'm saying, for us to give y'all at the particular time. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's what I'm most proud of with the work we do as Crossroads, is that it's a form of therapy, and I think great hip hop is supposed to be that. You're supposed to learn from it at some level, whether mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and have some type of connection to the conversation music that you can always go back to. When you're in a certain frame of mind or a certain mood, and you're like, I need to hear this record. Boom, here you go. You know what I'm saying?
But I actually have one more question for you, Baby Paul, before we actually move into the group side of things, man. But in '98, you actually produced the song "My World" on Fat Joe's Don Cartagena record, man. I was wondering, how did yourself and Fat Joe get connected, man? And what's the story behind that iconic recording session, man? Because I can only imagine what it was like seeing Fat Joe just do his thing in the studio.
Yeah, shout out to Joe, man. Like, Bronx legend, OG homie. It was a great opportunity, and actually it was his first gold record ever in his career that I had the honor to be a part of, the Don Cartagena album. Initially, I'm trying to think how I first linked up with Joe. One of the A&Rs at the label at Atlantic at the time, his name is Rob Tulo. He's also, his nickname is Reef. He was a legendary A&R / hip hop producer, hip hop, culture purist. He was A&R on a lot of stuff. They had a subsidiary called Big Beat Atlantic. He was an A&R for that company. It was originally ran by Craig Cowman, who's an executive over there at Atlantic to this day. And I had submitted some beats to Reef, and then he called me back when Joe was working on his album, and he chose that record. And Joe had did a deal with some business partners out in Staten Island, and he formed a imprint called Mystic Records. That was how he put that album out. So it was Mystic Records in partnership with Atlantic Records, and he got his budget for that album, and then it had production from me, Buck Wild. I think Puff worked on that album. So many other great producers I can't remember at this moment, but so I gave him that record because I sampled a legendary R&B song by Luther Vandross called "Don't You Know That," and I got the inspiration to play with the sample because of a classic that P. Rock did years before, "Got Me Waiting" for Heavy D. So let me take a different approach on that sample with the beat, and I did, and that's what got everyone's attention. So when Joe chose the record, I went out to Staten Island to a big old recording studio, state-of-the-art recording studio on Staten Island, and recorded the record privately. And once he got the vocals done, he was conflicted about how to finish it. He was thinking of the hook and maybe getting a big name feature on the record and going back and forth and pondering it. But then he shut it down and was like, you know what? I'm gonna put my boy Pun on this record. Rest in peace to Big Pun. He was still alive at this time, and he put Pun on the hook, and the rest is history, man. It was like a great opportunity for me to be able to at least say I had a record with Pun featured on it before he passed.
And I gotta ask as well, man, like, what was it like just being able to be in the studio with Big Pun, if you were? Because I know you said you were doing separate studio stuff, but did you get the opportunity to meet Pun during that recording session? And if so, man, what was it like just seeing the lyrical assassin at work?
Actually, yeah. It's funny because we first recorded it in Staten Island at Mystic Recordings, and then there were some other sessions. Like DJ Clue was working on one of his professional albums with Rockefeller, and Pun was doing, I think, his verse for one of the songs he did for Clue's album, and Joe gave him the record, and we were in a studio in Manhattan, downtown Manhattan. I think it was, can't remember the name of the studio off the top of my head right now, but he laid the vocals for that chorus at that studio, and then we finished it off in Staten Island for the album. And man, it's crazy because Pun was going through a thing with his health, with his weight. So a lot of times he would sit in the booth as opposed to stand, and wife would come through and pop in and check in on him and whatnot. I think bring him his medication because of his weight condition. And it's just funny because when he got in the booth and he opened up on vocals, like breath control, none of that was an issue. He just went in. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't know what he was going through health-wise based on how he sounds when he performs his vocals. And that's my memory of Pun, man. Amazing talent, man. May he rest in peace.
Most definitely. Rest in peace to the late, great Big Pun, man. Most definitely is one of the, in my personal opinion, one of the best lyrical performers ever, man. No one can ever compare to Pun.
Man, he was a student of the greats. You could tell from what he was coming with. You could tell he was a student of greats like G-Rap, Rakim, Nas, the guys that came before him, because everything he was doing, it was like the punchlines, the metaphors, the bar structure, the cadences. It was all a testament of the people he was a student of, and he was just representing that now generation at that time, coming from that. You know what I'm saying? You can hear it.
And also, jumping ahead in the timeline to March 2019, you guys actually released a mixtape called X Out. I was wondering if you can give our listeners a bit more insight on this phenomenal mixtape, and of course, where is it where our listeners can actually snag themselves a copy if they haven't already done so?
Well, there's two versions of X Out. There's a version where it's more mixtape driven, where, matter of fact, we had pressed up some original hard copies. I believe Soup still might have some. If y'all want to hit Soup for some hard copies, homie. But there's a version where we had freestyles off of some of the beats I produced for other people, like beats I produced for like Pharoah Monch, Helter Skelter. I think that was it, yeah. And then there was some original songs. So what we did was the mixtape version has more of the freestyles and the verses he did over the beats that I produced for other people. And then the original version is like a 5-song EP that's actually in all streaming platforms. You can literally go Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, Tidal, wherever you get your streaming content. have a subscription and check out the EP version of X amount right now.
And I just have to ask as well, guys, because a lot of people, man, they're kind of like anti-mixtape nowadays. Everyone's doing the whole. We're kind of in the single era where people are just dropping singles. Do you guys think mixtapes and mixtape sites should still be a thing? I always like asking individuals that, man, because you always get some amazing input.
That's a good question. I'll say my position, and I definitely want Supa to answer that question too. For me, I feel like when you're a new artist and you're up and coming, even more so than if you're established and you're not as contractually obligated for the business of your music being put out there, for the sake of companies that are investing in you, to like put out music for free, then definitely use the mixtape sites, definitely use YouTube, definitely use SoundCloud, AudioMac, certain platforms to just put a free body of work for streaming purposes, to just raise awareness on your content, your talent, and then you attack the streaming platforms that will monetize your product. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with testing certain music, and then the best part is you don't have clearance issues with certain music if you're not monetizing it. Like for example, some of the beats I produced that Sup did covers of, we didn't have to worry about those clearance issues because we're not selling it. We're just using it as a promotional tool to let people hear what Sup can do as an artist, you know what I'm saying, and as a lyricist over these classic beats.
I gotta say that's actually phenomenal. Like me personally, I always used to remember growing up, man, and just waking up and getting those DJ Green Lantern mixtapes back in the day, man. Like I love mixtapes, and I wish they will make a comeback. But if they do, say if they come back and they happen to change their just the way they are, then I'd rather just leave it in the past, if that makes sense.
Right. I think there's different ways to do mixtapes now. Like there's ways you can do quote unquote mixtape and still stream it, but you would probably have to consider the fact that majority of the content has to be original music, where there's no licensing. Then because let's just say said let's call this next project a mixtape, right? It'll be like a mixtape album if we put streaming platforms for sale, and we still get the credibility of a well-known DJ or a respected DJ to host it, and incorporate their fan base with ours and put it out. For example, if you look at what Kendrick did with one of his albums, he had Kid Capri hosting it. Remember, he had tags and drops and voiceovers throughout the album, so it still had a mixtape feel, but it was his album. So I still feel that the mixtape culture still has its value, but I think it's how you approach it and who you envelop in it. I think Fat Joe just dropped a project with DJ Drama, but it's an original project hosted by DJ Drama. So that mixtape culture element is still there. You know what I'm saying?
But also as well, guys, June 12th of 2020, I know you guys brought up this record a few moments ago, but I have to bring it up again, man, so you guys can really dig deep into your guys' newest project. But The Road Less Traveled, man, dropped June 12th of last year, man. I was wondering if you could tell our listeners a bit more about this phenomenal record, and of course, do you have any hard copies available? That way our listeners can snag themselves a copy if they haven't already done so.
I would love to do a vinyl version. We just gotta partner up with the right platform to like have a vinyl version of the record. But for me, musically, it was just the conversation. The Road Less Travel was a conversation, just letting people know that us as a group, we're putting out music independently, which is the Road Less Travel. But not only that, the conversation and subject matter in a lot of the music was the Road Less Travel, because a lot of people make records, for clout and for popularity, in today's market. More the younger generation, I would say, do approach their music with that mindset. Us, we want to talk to you, we want to inspire you, we want to enlighten you, we want to make you think somewhere in the context of listening to a body of work, and that's what the Road Less Travel for me was about.
And I gotta say, guys, it is a phenomenal record, man, in my personal opinion. I really cannot wait just to hear what you guys have coming in 2021. And speaking of that, I have to ask, what is next for Xrossroads as a duo? Do you guys have any new projects, anything else you still want to talk about or promote while we stuff you here live on the Canadian airwaves this evening?
Absolutely. I know Supa and I have been conferring about this for months. my main concern was making sure that he was in a good space, in terms of, maintaining his situation after surviving a serious accident, and he's been doing great. I came up with a concept that he and I are still discussing. I won't put the name of it out there yet, but we're definitely planning on putting out a body of work. We have some catalog that we never released, along with some new ideas that we're, in discussions with. So, I'm excited to put out a body of work before the year's out. So definitely stay tuned. We don't have a release date yet, but there is some music in the works for sure.
But also, I have to ask.
Yeah, man.
Oh, so my apologies, Supa.
Oh no, it's all good. We just be, we just making it happen, man. Like we got stuff that's like sitting on some crazy material, and we got stuff that we done already done that's like super dope. You know what I'm saying? And the new stuff that we're gonna get to, that y'all gonna be able to get, sooner than later. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna be, another capture of what we already done, but on a steroid level. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be so. They used to be selling at churches. They used to be like huge. They was bigger than KFC and it's gonna be that type of chicken. You feel me? Thanksgiving turkey, like super fat. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's because we done set precedence. You know what I'm saying, with the music that we already put out. So
right.
It's only right that we give it people that quality every time. It's only right that we get, that love every time. It's only right that we give people, the full expansion of the knowledge and creativity that we enjoy from the culture, and that we can translate to the culture, through us.
Right.
And that's
and the blessing is that there's so much great music is starting to come out at the second half of the year, which is just additional motivation for us,
Man, just when you listen to anything that Xrossroads put out, you know what I'm saying? If y'all could jump online and go to different places that we already had the music at, purchase it, or just listen to it, help the numbers go up, streams and all of that. But what y'all listening to is quality. What y'all listening to is real lyricism, real hip-hop music. You know what I'm saying? From a quality cat with lyrics and a quality cat with beats. You know what I'm saying? And together we making these songs, man, and they standing out. And like the stuff that we saying, man, is like we ain't just dropping jewels, man. This is timeless talk. We talking from now and from the past and from here and forward. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. For sure. And I want to add to what Supa's saying. For those who may have missed it, the most recent releases we put out was a song called Time, which is amazingly being critically acclaimed. Anybody who hears that record, and I know Supa agrees with me, their mind is blown in terms of the art and the lyricism and the quality of this record. Like if you're really a hip hop fan and you haven't heard Time from Xrossroads, you're missing out. You know what I'm saying? And then we have another song called Hard to Dance, which was, a politically charged record, which we released right around election week, late last year, you know what I mean? And it speaks for itself. So, if you want to tune into those two records, Hard to Dance and Time, they're both available on streaming platforms everywhere. And you can check it out until we come to the table with this next body of work.
For sure. I mean, it is like, when you listen to the X amount record, you listen to, the road less traveled, you know what I'm saying? Like, you getting, like, a Kang variation of Xrossroads. You feel me? You up on the Low Key series at the end, they saw Kang. Kang was talking about the variations of himself coming or whatever.
Oh, man.
So you got a variation of Xrossroads from the X amount, because X amount is just what it was. It was making a statement. Like, you know what I'm saying? We Xing out the bullshit you know what I'm saying, with this lyricism and these dog-ass beats, you know what I'm saying? And then the Road Less Travel was just, you know, a conversational piece, like Baby Paul always say. That was dope when he said it. Like, man, it's like a conversational piece, because when you think about me and Baby Paul's career, like, if we was one dude, it would be like, we would be like, you know, Baby Jesus or something, or one of the Baby Jesus. You know what I'm saying? But,
beat it, bro.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, right?
Much love to Kanye, but bro, if me and Supa was one person, it's over. Straight up.
Yeah, it would be crazy, but
Great.
the whole extent of what I'm saying with the Road Less Travel, like, we got personal, we got informational, we got like we got the kicking it with motherfuckers on there. Like, the X amount was like, look, we in your face, what the fuck is up? You know what I'm saying? And then like I was saying with our careers, me and Baby Paul done took the roads that less have traveled.
And we continue to do so.
Continue to do so.
That title speaks so many volumes to me, man, and I know Supa the same way, because I think that was a defining moment for both of us artistically, because we both lived it throughout our whole career. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Being somewhat staples within culture that's known and respected, but still fighting. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's through the industry politics, fighting through being at the top of our game and being acknowledged as such, fighting through, you know, wanting to be able to inspire and support the culture and be supported in return, you know, all of those things. You know what I'm saying? That's what, to me, the Road Less Travel means, you know, and we live in that every day, man.
And then just the fact that the name of the group is Crossroads. Like, when you come to a crossroads, right, that means you either done went everywhere and exhausted all the directions. That's why you there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then what you have to realize is, from that point at the crossroads, you can go any direction you choose to.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? You can go any direction you choose to get back to what you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
It don't even have to be the way that you came in. It could be a whole nother way. But you at the crossroads or that precipice of the change or the paradigm shift or whatever you want to call it in everybody's life. You feel me? We just a vocal representation of all of that shit.
Fact.
But I gotta ask
music
you,
representation. All
yo,
that.
Mo, pardon us if we get real deep on you, man. But yo, we take this rap shit real serious, bro. So when he and I get together, we talk music. This is how we talk, bro.
hey man, it's all good, man. That's what hip hop is, man.
You know?
Yeah, let's be serious. Like, okay, like, my thing is, okay, like, when you, okay, it's like, and I'm not trying to diss no niggas. I'm not trying to diss motherfuckers and how they feel about shit. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. But this is just me speaking on some shit, okay? How do you go from a fucking Rakim to a Tekashi 6ix9ine? Like, it just don't fucking add up to me.
Right.
Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you look at hip hop and we define all our greats as being lyrically sound, and these motherfuckers as being invincibly sweet by the way they able to curve words over any type of melody or tune, or the spoon slapping on the knee, motherfucker beatboxing, somebody burping and it's on beat, you know, somebody breathing. I mean, they able to dance words across every fucking thing. So how did we go from hailing the greatest MCs in a way that they can bend words and come up with fresh ass ideas to the point where we just don't even give a fuck, where a motherfucker could just grunt and skirt and across the whole fucking track, and motherfuckers is like, oh, okay, this motherfucker is want a goat. Like, how the fuck? Like, how the fuck can you call a motherfucker a goat? And I mean, like, when a motherfucker ain't really got GOAT status. Like, to me, when you call a motherfucker GOAT, that means that motherfucker made dope-ass records. That motherfucker got a dope-ass off-the-record freestyle with a written verse that you ain't never heard. And then this motherfucker could go off of the head, crazy as hell. And then on top of that, this motherfucker catch you somewhere and battle your brains in. And you know what I'm saying?
The impact of it is undeniable and respected.
Undeniable. Like, the people that we came up listening to and worshiping and giving them the praise of being able to control words, you know what I'm saying? They was actually fucking sweet with it. And they actually had battles under their belt where they done crushed a gang of people, and it's documented. And people can speak on it. Like, yeah, well, you ain't got that. You got a bunch of market, advertised, charged artists, you know, claiming to be the best. Like, come on, put them somewhere where the dog's really barking at, and see if they cat ass don't get ripped apart. It's just, to me, it's just like that. You can't, you don't say that about a basketball. You don't put a basketball player on the NBA team if he ain't got no, or he ain't got no game to be, you know, no type of position.
Yeah.
Right. You can't. Nah. Hell no.
Even be classic, you gotta earn that.
Right, you gotta earn that shit. And to get on the team, you gotta earn that shit. And to be champions, you gotta earn that shit. I mean, and I ain't knocking motherfuckers for they, you know, fortune and all that shit, but yet it's still, dog, you still gotta cut across that grass to be a dope MC, man. Like, straight up, to be a dope producer, straight up. You gotta know what you're doing, man. It ain't just Fruity Loops and Toonie Tunes. You know what I'm saying? This ain't just ABC rapping 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? This is logic. This is ideology. This is spirituality. This is divinity. This is deity. This is, man, come on, man.
Facts.
Right.
And I gotta say, you actually nailed that right on the head, man. There's way too many whack people out there nowadays, man. But, you know, I think that's why, me personally, I live in the 90s, man. I like that 90s hip-hop, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and while we're on the topic of real hip-hop, man, have you guys actually sat back and listened to Nas's new album, man? It's actually phenomenal.
Of course.
Man, come on, man.
Come on, you ain't gotta ask us.
You ain't gotta ask us, man. You know, like, we are, like, if people don't know, and if people have failed to realize it, you know what I'm saying? It's a god of rap. His name is Rakim, and there's a godson of rap. His name is Nasir Jones, and dog. Flex.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I was seeing people online, man. People online were calling that record trash, and I was like, all right, I'm going to sit back and actually listen to it, right? And I don't even know where... I'm not even going to lie, man. I think these people are actually, like, just kind of, like, brainwashed from this mumble crap. Because at the end of the day, man, that record was just pure gold from start to finish, man.
I mean, you got to understand... Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
No. I want Supa to finish. Go ahead.
No, you got to understand, man, that, you know... Being a dope lyricist is sweet as hell. It's like walking around like it's being like part of the Harry Potter wizard school or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know, when marketing and promotion and the game is pushing a bunch of mumble mouth motherfuckers and it's making it seem like they better than being a lyricist when this is what the fucking shit is about, like, then that kind of makes being a lyricist not a part of the Harry Potter magic school anymore. It makes you look like a fucking regular motherfucker. You're just brainy. You feel me? But at the end of the day, you know, when motherfuckers want to play that shit, like, motherfuckers talk about, oh, you know, backpack rap. I mean, nigga, I grew up around guns and shit and all type of rowdy ass shit. So yeah, we put our books in backpack, but sometimes, nigga, we had pistols in them too. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's to me, it's like, quit playing that a rap artist, you know what I'm saying, with an actual thought process and a train of thought that ain't crashed in his head while he's rapping, you know what I'm saying, can actually give you some dog-ass verbatim and some lyrical stimulation other than some fucking garbage, repetitive, cat, rat, and dog fuck shit. Like, dog, like, quit playing. You know what I mean? Quit playing. Like, this is what we did. Like, you didn't deem Michael Jordan to be the greatest player in the fucking existence because he couldn't shoot threes or he couldn't dribble or this motherfucker couldn't dunk. Like, come on. Like, how? It's like, okay, I know motherfuckers got wild ass tunes, but if me and Baby Paul, if motherfuckers came to Baby Paul tomorrow, was like, look, Baby Paul, we heard you and Supa Emcee shit the other day. Hey, I called Supa Emcee up too, and we're gonna offer you guys $500,000 or $3 million to do this, blah blah blah. They already know what they gonna get, and they already know with that money where that shit gonna go. And everybody gonna be like, oh, look at these new niggas clowning. We already been clowning, y'all. Now we just got the money to make y'all aware of this shit. You feel me? That's what it is. That's the only difference. Man, that's the only fucking difference. If like we doing it with what we got. You know what I'm saying? Grit, grind, talent, and fucking know how to make this shit happen. A lot of niggas is getting free ride with the bullshit, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't pour syrup on bullshit and call it pancakes, my dog. And that's what they doing. That's what they doing.
And just rewinding to what you mentioned about Nas's album, for those who may be criticizing, it's like when I've watched Nas's career from the time I worked with him to now, and I know where his head is at. He's basically in a space where he's comfortable. And what I mean by comfortable, he's comfortable with his legacy. He's comfortable with his talent. He's comfortable with his financial space. So now he's just being him. And he's collaborating with people that fulfill the vision of where he's at creatively when it comes to music. He understands the younger market to a point where he knows where he fits in that. And that's why he'll work with someone like a Hit Boy who's made some great music with some other, well-known artists within the culture that are respected, like a Nipsey Hussle, you know what I'm saying, like a Roddy Ricch or whatever, and then say, all right, I'm going to marry what you do with what I do, and that's how you got King's disease. Volume 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? It's a balanced artistic approach where some of the younger generation and the progressive sound that they're accustomed to can hear someone like a legacy artist like Nas on that and be able to connect, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
And yo, man, just like you speaking on Nas, and I be hanging around all these Grammy nominated people. You know what I'm saying? Outlaw. You know what I'm saying? I be hanging out all these Grammy nominated. I'm like, yo, I hanging around all these Grammy nominated. We gonna be Grammy nominated too, and then we gonna be Grammy getting. You feel me? But like, the craziest thing was like when Nas got the Grammy last year, him and Royce was up for the Grammy. That was Detroit. You know what I'm saying? That's like
shout to Royce, shout to Denon Porter.
Man, for sure, man. They're my dogs right there, dog. Like straight up homies. And that's same with Baby Paul and Nas and AZ and stuff. It's like it's the, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? The lyricism that we are around, the lyricism that we was born into, the musical format that we was born into. Not even knocking the fact of what the youth is doing and what they doing with the music today. But I'm just saying, man, like, and I'm talking to the youth right now. Y'all gotta do this hip hop shit right. You know what I'm saying? Quit with the clownery and the buffoonery, turning a great art form that united brothers from gangs to stop killing each other into an art form that we can all make millions off of and feed our family. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. This hip hop was so educative, man, and that's why we upheld artists like Jay-Z, Nas, you know what I'm saying? All these 50, all these people, Pac, Biggie, because they were graphic writers. They were more than just street figures. Yeah, we knew they was from the streets. We knew they did hood shit. We all from the hood. We all do hood shit. You feel me? But the fact that they could depict it in that well way over those tracks, in that well way, and convey it to the point where you could feel every word they saying, even if they was just going on. Come on now.
Right.
Come on now. That's the quintessential award for being a dope ass artist. Is to be able to convey that shit and not be a manufactured McDonald's meal. Like, stop, man.
Yep, that's fact. And that's the biggest problem, is that, we carry on tradition. I say this all the time. I come from a lineage of a certain shit, so when I make music, I approach it as such, and I always will. You know what I'm saying? I understand as a music producer how to balance out depending on the artist I'm working with and bring out the best in them, but I still carry on tradition no matter what.
Sure. we gotta keep Christmas alive. Everybody want presents, don't they?
Right.
We got to keep Christmas alive. And the reason why I said that, because Baby Paul said carry on tradition. We'd always be talking about that. Because every Christmas, everybody get a treat. Every Christmas, everybody get ornaments. Every Christmas, everybody get gifts. You see wreaths. You see Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman. You see all the reindeers, you see the sleigh popping, the mistletoe. You keep the tradition sacred. You have a turkey, you got all this stuffing, you got, all this stuff. So when you talk about hip-hop, you got to keep the traditions.
Facts.
You can't downplay the DJ. You can't downplay the graffiti artist. You can't downplay the B-boy. You can't downplay the MC.
These are all elements.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep that intact. You gotta carry on tradition. You know what I'm saying? They ain't who we call the pillars of hip hop. They ain't the pillars of hip hop for no reason. Roxanne Shante ain't a pillar of hip hop for no reason. She really kind of laid down different blueprints on battling back in the day before he was really trying to be on that shit. She was running up on niggas, serving them. Like, come on, man. It's things that people don't take notice to, that other artists, before me, before us, set as a precedent for this culture that we doing, and then dummies ain't following suit.
That's right. That's right.
But I gotta ask you guys, man, before we actually part ways this evening, I was wondering if you guys can drop them social media handles, man. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated, everything Xrossroads, and of course, your guys' newest projects.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Big Boss.
First off, Xrossroads as a group, you can follow us on Instagram, spelled XROSSROADS-NYD. NYD means New York, Detroit. Xrossroads NYD on Instagram and Facebook, I believe. And, of course, me, Baby Paul, BPG, that's BABYPAUL, all one word, on Instagram. I'm only on Instagram. I'm not on nowhere else. I deleted all my other social media. I'm only on Instagram.
Yeah, you could holler at the Supa Emcee at Supa Emcee1. You know what I'm saying, on the Instagram. You can follow me on the Facebook too. At Supa Emcee the Immortal. Supa Emcee the Hero. Or Supa Emcee American Anger. Or you could just Google me, SUPAEMCEE. You know what I'm saying? Or Google Xrossroads if you get wavy on the handles and all that. Look us up, man. We everywhere. We got that work out here for you. If you smoke or you sniff or you inject, we put it all in you the way you like it.
And make sure you check out the Xrossroads official YouTube on YouTube. All our visual content's on there, along with the mixtape audio of both of our projects. Road Less Travel and X Amounts, all on YouTube if you want to stream it that way, or you can go to streaming platforms and support us there. You know what I'm saying? Last but not least, make sure you check out Time single, Hard to Dance single. They're both out. And just stay tuned. We definitely come with some music before the year ends, man. But me and a big homie got to deliberate on what we're going to get a world. And then we're going to set a release date and get to work.
And I just want to say, man, shout out to everybody that's been involved with the whole Xrossroads manifestation, man. I'm talking about from the music, for the artists we featured on joints with us, you know what I'm saying, from the place we recorded it, from the guy, big fella himself that linked us all together and got the ball rolling with the meeting, and, from the studio we've been in, recording out of, you know what I'm saying, shout out to Big John, shout out to Chris, shout out to Baby Paul, shout out to Maisha Hendricks, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that had something to do with that XR. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up. And thank you for this lovely interview. And shout out to all my peoples in Detroit, Queens, New York, Detroit, back and forth, and all points in between and cross from that.
Hey, man, I gotta say, first and foremost, guys, you are most certainly welcome. Like I said at the beginning of the interview, I've been a fan of both of you guys for a long time, man. So the honor, man, most definitely is all your guys', man, because I'm just so happy to be able to welcome two legendary individuals, two living legends on my radio station this evening.
Thank you, man. And shout out to Canada, man. We got love for Canada, man.
Hey, man.
Shout out to all our families. We love y'all, man. No doubt. Everybody.
Hey man, most definitely, guys. You guys have yourself a wonderful night, and most definitely stay safe out there in New York and Detroit.
Absolutely, you too, man. And people be safe, man. Don't be afraid to get tested. Make sure you wear your mask because it ain't over. You know what I'm saying? We're just in a different version of what's going on. So be careful.
Man, it's serious.
Still be careful out there. And God bless everybody.